Okay, so today's gonna be slightly bit of a different video. Basically gonna be about the Marlow dilemma that's been happening all over YouTube, and it's a big thing that's impacted the PvP community. And it's been a few videos around there, different concepts, but this is what I've been able to gather for the information that's been collected. The Marlow dilemma started a while back when people have been seeing videos of Marlow who have been supposedly hacking, and completely and I'd also like to mention Rapture and Marlow. The reason they both got banned off, I think, Minecraft in general was because I'll get into Rapture in a later section, but for now I'll talk about Marlow. Marlow and Rapture basically both were hacking and doing these almost perfect movers, and they were people that came out of nowhere, whatsoever. And Marlow becoming the best player in the world, which completely allowed her to own MC tiers and allowed her to be able to rule the tier list, even getting to the level of Grandmaster and tier 1 in every game mode, being one of the best in every game mode. Well, Marlow's it really started to heat up, but then Marlow, after making a video about her setup, her face cam, her everything, checking her computer, best people, not seeing hacks, just showing her awesome aim. It was somehow that escalated the situation and basically just provided people to realize that Marlow was supposed to be legit, so it slightly cooled down, but then it completely escalated with many videos around people honestly just absolutely hating the entire MCTS situation. And she just she was but ever since she had owned it, she would be completely owned. And also it was shown that the entire system was slightly corrupt in the way that some people in very high powers in the PvP civilization were not whatsoever reporting this. They were not realizing this. They had no questions about this, possibly because Marlow owned MCTs at the time, but also possibly because they could have been in the same scam, and some of these people have potentially been kicked off the mod team, and further action has been taken against them in Minecraft in general. But the thing is, these people, they racked up millions, not millions, but tens of thousands of US dollars through this way, through this gravity that they were to do. And with them being completely and utterly in control over this, it allowed them to not just rack up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, which normally hackers, they will get a ban off a server. Minecraft in general won't do much, but it got to the point they were racking up tens of thousands of dollars, which allowed them to have the grounds, if they were truly hacking, to be completely kicked off MCTs and Minecraft in general. And that's really one thing that made the gravity of this situation escalated. Because basically, if you were able to, because it was practically just hacking to get money if this was true. Basically, the fact that she was getting that she was racking up this money was like she was like the person that, since she owned MCTs, a group of people, even the person that I think that owned PvP Club, was helping with the same scam. But Marlow was like, she was definitely one that was pulling strings. She was hacking those many footages of gameplay and supposed reasons for this. But her being a person that owned the tier list kind of put in the reason I'm talking about the tier list is because if she owned that entire power that made tier taggers and most of Yuku's mods just she had power over a lot of things, and this is kind of what allowed her to be able to manipulate not into a point where they were just able to get away with whatever she wanted. But Marlow was definitely an evil, but now it's time to get into Rapture. So basically, Rapture was a person who, in a few words, normally Marlow would be considered evil, but people had been noticing why Rapture was off the tier list, and even people like me, I had asked why he had been kicked off tier lists. And then I realised, so he originated on a different account, all the way back in 2021, I think. At 2021, he joined 2B2T and was one of the most hated members of it. He started by infiltrating teams, griefing everything, and making 2B2T a bad experience for a lot of people, but it was also known. And when the border had reset, everything had been started anew and all of that for 2B2T. He had come back as catfishing as a 12-year-old girl and he had gotten a different name of account, and he had completely infiltrated teams and all of that. But then in 2022, I'm pretty sure, you joined the Minecraft. You joined the Minecraft tier list PvP community, and a sudden spark of at a very similar time to Marlow, a sudden spark of fame and skill. Even him being able to overpower one of the most competent and well-recognized maces in the entire community of Alien Overdose, who was high tier 1 for many years, and it's been proved that he hasn't been cheating. He's been doing this for himself. And basically, Rapture, he had overthrown him with gameplay. So so many of his pearl tracking moments were very, very questioned, in a fact that most people that macing, the consistency that he was tracking his pearls with was unheard of. You could not get that consistency anywhere else in the entire tier list. Apart from people like Marlow, the consistency of him tracking his pearls, aka every time he was tracking his pearls, he got a perfect angle to them. And basically, this was very questioned. And he was also competent in other skills, including SMP gear, and he had many signature moves. And even with the mace decrease in how powerful elytras and pearls were in the kit, he had somehow still been able to completely rapture Alien Overdose in 0 to 10 games, to himself, into his own core of field. And that's really something that was unheard of up to that point. And what was very interesting, to say the least, about the entirety of Rapture's community was how he was able to completely do absolutely perfect in every single form of like consistency, pearl catching, elytras, was his elytra, was his actual mace, was attribute swapping, was his stun slamming, and there was very known clip around where it's one PvP, I'm not sure his full name, but credits to him if I do find his video. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll know, but sorry for forgetting your name. If you do see this video, God help you do. Please know that I give my full regards to this section, to what you said in your to a part in your video. Can't find it, but I'm sorry that I haven't been able to put your name in. If you're able to message me that, I will. Not message me on Discord, that I will completely make a video apologising for it. But what I'm trying to say is that there was a video about him, and he was against Rapture in a mace duel, and what it looked like he had dropped his shield, and it looked like he's dropped his shield, and like Rapture had taken his shield in that duel. That's not whatsoever happened. His shield is broken because of Rapture had been using macros within those stun slammings, and that's why I was able to hit most of his attacks with consistency. He was macroing for a good percentage of that, and also hacking to get these. And this is knowledge that has been commonly used, and it's commonly known that this knowledge, but this is a more overview. But he was also tracked on his finger movement, and a completely recorded show of his skill was being filmed, and all of that in SMP and Mace, and he was not to hit a single one of his signature moves, any of that, but he had received no repercussions after this because of one specific thing. The owner of PvP Club was watching his hand movement, was watching every last bit of this, and it was his decision if he was able to get kicked off PvP Club and the MCTers in general. And he had decided against it, which is very suspicious, concluding that everything he had done, everything was not questioned whatsoever, which is another show of people in control. But earlier in 2026, Marlow and Rapture were kicked off MCTers, and It's Real Me, and had become the top in the world, and Codified had surpassed Swite, and meaning the top 3 people in the world were the only combat masters. And this is what completely this is what the entirety of MCTS was designed about it being a fair tier list. But Marlow and Rapture had stomached it for years, gaining tens of thousands of dollars each. And congratulations for Codified being the newest active, because It's Real Me is an unactive player in every game mode but Sword, which is tied tier 3, and which is still an amazing tier. Credits for him for coming back in one game mode. And I'd just like to say how congratulations to Codified for being the best active player in Minecraft at the moment, in every game mode being active, apart from, I think, SMP, which he is retired high tier 1 in. And World of Codified being the newest best active player in the entirety of the world now. And that's all I have. Just a big explanation over the Marlow situation. And this is all just to describe what all of this, how it's cooled down, and what all of this was about. And I'd like to see you in the next episode.